Okay, here's the plan. Derek, you go up the podcast, and then we'll delete the files, and then we'll finally defeat Vecna. And Steph, if you're this bracelet, and I'm this scissors, if we cut the tether, then we can defeat Vecna. Does that make sense to everyone?
No.
Yeah.
You'd cut the bracelet, you'd cut me.
Exactly. This is Still Scrolling.
I'm the tether that holds the worlds together.
Oh my gosh. Welcome. This is our Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2 review of Stranger Things. This is Still Scrolling. I'm one of your Rockin' Robin radio hosts, Justin.
And I am Delightful Derek, your other host.
And I am Steve.
I was waiting for like a something else, but
I couldn't come up with anything on the spot.
Sure, whatever. You know what? I'll let it slide. Anyways, this is Still Scrolling. Today, because it's the holidays, and the biggest thing that is happening on the internet and everywhere is Stranger Things. We are dedicating this entire episode to covering this batch of episodes of Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2. Just so you know, the final episode of Stranger Things comes out, time of this recording, in like 2 days, so Wednesday, I believe?
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve or New Year's Day?
New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is going to be in theaters.
At 8 o'clock, and we're going to be discussing it. We will get into spoilers, and we will have a big flashing sign that says we were talking about spoilers, so keep that in mind. But before we get into that, I think it's important to discuss the reception to this batch of episodes. Again, we're talking about Stranger Things Volume 2, Season 5, Volume 2, which covers 3 episodes, and that is, I can pull it up, 5, 6, and 7. So, for starters, what did you guys think of this batch of episodes? I'll start with Derek.
He did not like them. I think they had some really decent moments. I think the whole season has had really nice moments, cool moments, but the show is not the same show anymore, and it's very clear at this point that this is heading full speed ahead towards a Game of Thrones Season 8 situation where it's just not going to end on a high note. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts about that. Steph, what did you think?
I have to disagree. I mean, there are some plot points that need to be finished and wrapped up, but they have over 2 hours for the last episode to do all that, so I think they can do that. I don't think it's going to be the same as Game of Thrones, because I remember the backlash that got when it came out. But if you think about it, between Volume 1 and Volume 2, we've had like a pretty good like story run so far of what's going on. If you mash them up together, if you don't look at them separately, if you put them together, I think it's a pretty good story we're having at the moment.
Interesting. Am I the only one that had a good time during this?
I mean, I had a good time. I didn't say anything negative about it.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble understanding where this anger is coming from, because I enjoyed
I'm not
this
angry.
budget.
I'm not angry, okay? Who said I was angry? This is
Oh,
the funny thing, I was angry. I'm not
You're
angry.
not so delightful right now.
I'm just saying, I thought these episodes were pretty run-of-the-mill Stranger Things, you know what I mean? My expectations weren't of something exactly new to happen, because this feels like the calm before the storm, right? And we got a lot of like reveals and new information about what the final episode is going to be like. I thought it was pretty good, and we got some closure on some things that were sorely needed. It's hard to talk about this batch of episodes without talking about the online reception to this.
I think a better way maybe for me to phrase it, in terms of at least how I'm feeling, is by the time Season 4 came out, I was fully uninvested. I think Season 4 was the first season where it's like, okay, this is not the same show. This is something different. You know, they clearly are just trying to make more seasons, right? In the lead up for Season 5, I was like, let me rewatch it. Okay, I've got my good friend Justin, my other good friend Stefania, they're hyped for it. We
Yeah,
got a
that's
podcast
us.
around
Mhm.
it, you know?
Right.
So I was like, let me rewatch it. So I rewatched it. And again, I still felt that little like, season 4 is so, right? But I was hype. I was hype again, which was the important piece, right? So that just as soon as I thought I was out, they pull me back in, right? And then season 5 drops and I'm like, I got rehype for this, you know? And I think that's why I'm feeling a little bit more heavier in terms of like me not enjoying it, is because it's not the same show that I got hyped for. It's not a season 1, it's not a season 2, and that's not necessarily a fair thing to expect, is for them to be like, hey, the greatest you've ever been, give that to me again. But I think it kind of is valid to want that, considering it's the finale season, considering the press tour was the hype train around it, right? You had the stars saying, oh, my favorite seasons are season 1 and season 5, you know, like you were kind of expecting something a little bit more. And I think that's why maybe I'm a little bit not as sold on it being great.
Interesting. This is very fascinating to me. I know you mentioned like the whole Game of Thrones comp, and I think it's important to mention that going into this as well, because the writers of the show themselves have cited Game of Thrones as something they don't want to do. Like they don't want something like that to happen. And I'm wondering what elements of that are they changing or trying to avoid, per se? You know what I mean? Like, I guess like the number one thing that people cite in Game of Thrones is probably like Dany burning down King's Landing as being like an out of character thing. I don't think at this point there's going to be a drastic character turn in the final episode. I don't think there'll be like a huge reveal. I don't even think there'll be any deaths or like any major deaths.
No.
I think
Like,
they
at
I
all.
think they were referring more to the reception of Game of Thrones final season.
Right.
But I think if in terms of from a character perspective, what they were maybe referring to, I think the Duffer Brothers and some of the cast too, I think they were talking about wanting to avoid the reception that Game of Thrones final season got. I think they were projecting a little bit. I think they knew. I think they wrapped it up and they're like, fuck, we did too much and we kind of botched this, but maybe if we mention it, it won't be as bad. But
I
I
don't
think
think they can botch it though. I mean, they
I
can,
think
but
their
I don't
version
think they will, you know?
Yeah.
I think their version of Bran the Broken, right? That unexpected, like Bran is
Oh.
king. I think their version of that is that they're going to give Vecna a redemption, and they're going to be like, "Oh, he was good all along. The
Like
power
it's
of friendship
Henry.
saved Vecna." Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Hey, we
Henry,
saved
not Vecna.
Henry.
I've seen that theory where it's like, oh, Henry's actually like good, and it's Vecna that's another entity that's like taken over him, and Henry's trying to like escape or whatever.
I saw something else too, that Callie is the Mind Flayer.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
saw
don't know.
that too.
Well,
There's just so much happening that
Yeah.
who knows?
Well, Callie is sus. I don't know about being a mind
sure.
flayer, but she's sus.
For sure. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I think we can finally get into spoiler section. So if you are listening to this, I'm going to give this section a thumbs up. You know what I mean? Derek, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Middle, because it's doing its job. It's keeping me watching.
Okay.
And
okay.
it's giving me content, baby. All right? I'm an unpaid culture critic, so I need that content. And I don't hate the show. I really don't. I just come off with a very like blech tone. So middle.
Interesting. Steph?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm with Justin on this. I'm honestly here for the ride. While I do want things to end in not a dumb way, I'm here for a good time.
Good time,
Yeah.
not a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is on brand for the 80s, right? You'd watch a movie,
Right.
you'd watch a show, and you're kind of like, well, how did this? Don't worry about it. All right, it's a fantasy
Maybe
movie.
that's
Don't worry
what they're
about it.
doing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
So, as we did last time, we are going to be going through these. We're going to be going through this set of episodes that is Shock Jock, Escape from Camazotz, and The Bridge, character by character, and we'll be covering all the entire, I guess, breadth of this 3 episodes. So now, if you have not seen Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2, this is the time to jump off. Don't say we didn't warn you, because now we're spoiling it. Max is back, everyone!
Will is gay!
Will is gay!
Will is gay!
My gosh, I never would have guessed that Will is gay. Okay, let's talk about the most not controversial, but the most talked about thing in this set of episodes is the coming out scene. I'm assuming that no one in this podcast is currently on the LGBTQIA spectrum, so keep that in mind. Or at least that I know of. So keep that in mind in this discussion, right? Like, we are all straight people talking about this.
Right.
I didn't think it was that bad. Everyone's clowning on the coming out scene. And in this scene, Will starts to come out about how he is a gay person to his mother, and is stopped and is interrupted by Mike coming in, and then Will directs everyone, the entire cast of characters, to listen to him come out because he is afraid that Vecna will use that against him. I didn't think it was that bad.
Right.
But the internet disagrees with me. Eric disagrees with me because he was lighting up the group chat. I kept telling everyone, I was like, save it for the pod, save it for the pod. But Derek was like, how dare Hopper not be homophobic? Derek himself said, I think that Nancy totally voted for Reagan Wheeler.
Reagan. Well, the Wheelers did. They had a Reagan sign on their yard. Yeah.
Would not be supportive of this. I disagree wholeheartedly. Are you kidding me? Derek, am I misrepresenting you, or am I telling the truth, which I am?
Yeah, no. So I don't have a problem with the scene being where it is, the scene being executed the way that it was from a plot perspective. I think it was great, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, I don't think Will was ready to come out. Right? I think that putting the whole consideration as to whether he should or shouldn't all in one season, right? Because before this season, he wasn't even like thinking of that, right? But they wrote it so that he happens to stumble upon Robin and Vicky, and that kind of opens up the curiosity. And then by the end of the season, he comes out because he's forced to, because it's something that Vecna has weaponized against him. I think that's great. I think that was perfect, right? My issue with that scene is that everybody was there, including Maury, including Callie, except Hopper wasn't there. The man that...
What do you mean?
Hopper wasn't in the scene. Hopper's not in the scene. No, he isn't.
Okay,
he's not in the scene.
We gotta pull up the pic. We have to pull up the pic right now.
Hopper,
yes, he is. Picture before.
It's in the group chat. Hopper's not in the scene.
What?
And I think it would have been perfect if he was in the scene, because the first bit of dialogue where we even think that Will is gay is between Hopper and Joyce when he first goes missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
No way.
Also,
hold on.
Hopper also completely upended his life and career to find Will. He's the only one to believe Joyce, to want to help Joyce.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he there? And if he was there, why didn't they give him a medium shot like they did Robin? Why didn't they give him the camera 2 seconds of Hopper smiling at Will, right? If he was there. But again, he wasn't, because in the wide shot, you see he's not there. Why wasn't Hopper there?
Are you sure Hopper wasn't there? I'm like very confused why he wouldn't be there, you know?
Yeah, so was I, and I didn't think that was the case either, and it clicked. And I think what's happening is in the wide shot, where just because Maury's kind of a bigger guy, I think people are switching Maury and Hopper in their brains. But then they're also acknowledging that Maury was there. But if you look at the wide shot of that scene, Hopper's not there.
I'm scrubbing through it right now, and I'm like, he has to be here. If he's gonna call everyone, why wouldn't Hopper be there? That's so weird.
Yep. Especially because they then collectively go break into the Mac or whatever, right? The Mac Z. So it's kind of like, it's not like he was far away. Hopper was there. If L is there, Hopper was there.
My God. You're right.
Yep.
Why wasn't he there?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Robin's
interesting.
girlfriend is there.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just share the image because I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. It's literally. Oh wait, it's black. God damn it.
Yeah, you're not gonna be
Anyway.
able. You have to like change your Chrome
Dang it.
settings or whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah.
You could just do the photo that Derek sent.
Yes, I'm sorry for doubting you, Derek. He is
Don't let it
100%
happen
not
again.
there, which is kind of crazy. I truly didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think ultimately my only gripe with that scene, I think it was well placed, narratively speaking, and it's a very impactful and important moment. I think my issues with the scene just stem from how it was executed type of standpoint, which is the same with Jonathan and Nancy's breakup, which we'll get into later.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do want to say, if we can believe that demogorgons exist, I think we can believe that Will's loved ones, wouldn't be homophobic to him. I don't think there's anyone in that room who would have been homophobic to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Callie
After
might have.
all, who? Callie wasn't there.
Callie was there.
Yeah.
No.
Look at the photo.
Callie had. You remember Callie's friend group? One of them had to be LGBTQIA. One of
that's
them.
true.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
come
true.
on.
Yeah, they're all dead though.
Yeah.
She's in a
R.I.P.
punk subculture.
I was stereotyping. Sorry.
They're like even Murray. Murray's pretty cool with it. You know what I mean? He believes in all kinds of stuff. Why wouldn't he believe in gay people? Come on.
Murray grew up
well,
in
I
the
think-
70s.
Exactly. I think
he's very-
Murray did a little dibbling and dabbling. You know, he's on the
Yeah.
you know. Like,
Yeah.
of course they're going to accept him. So like
He's the
of cour-
matchmaker.
Yes, he's the matchmaker. Like, I don't think there was a scenario where anyone would be in that room at the very least. And I think it makes sense because
Except for Hopper, because he wasn't in that room.
True.
Except for Hopper. He got back and he's like, "What happened, guys? I want to be in the room where it happens."
Yeah.
Nah.
And they're like, "Oh, Will's gay," and he's like, "Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go break into a military compound that we've all been properly trained on how to do that," which is another
well,
thing.
we'll get there when we get there.
I mean, between like low key with the stuff that they've like done, especially in like season 3 with the whole like mall stuff and like Russians and whatever, I think they're qualified to break into a military
You
camp.
know what? Let's just talk about it. There is a point in this episode. Well, I guess this is like I at the beginning of this pod when we were preparing, I'm like, I don't have that much to say about Hopper in this stretch of episodes. And now we're talking about Hopper, which is very funny to me. I just feel like it's straining credibility that these groups of teens can go toe to toe with the military. I'm not talking about sneaking around them.
Yeah.
Bullet for bullet with the military? I know Nancy can shoot, but against like a dozen military people?
Yep.
That strained credibility for me, you know?
Maybe in the epilogue, because the finale's going to have an epilogue, apparently, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe in that epilogue, we'll get some of Nancy's backstory and it'll explain how her dying wife made sure to buy her a dog, but then like a Russian mob boss's son killed the dog, and that brought the worst out of Nancy, and that's why she's able to do all of that.
Are you saying Nancy Wheeler is John Wick?
Yes. Apparently. It seems like it. Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to talk about the second biggest thing that happened in this episode, besides Will coming out, is Max coming back to the real world through help with Lucas on one side and Holly Wheeler on the other side. According to the show, Max has been in a coma for almost 2 years. And I think it's very interesting how no one has mentioned Max's mom. I don't think anyone has mentioned like any of her family whatsoever. Yep. Like, does she have any cousins or aunts or uncles or anyone that would give a fuck about her coming out of this coma? Like, maybe we should call so-and-so. Or the fact that there's been an earthquake, there's been demogorgons attacking this very hospital, and yet no one is checking up on Max except for Lucas. Does anybody else think this is kind of weird, or is it just me?
It's a plot hole in this story, in this show. Because, yeah, have we ever seen Max's parents? No, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Max,
In season 3?
The stepdad.
Max's dad,
Yeah,
I
stepdad.
think, is dead, unfortunately, or out of the
R.I.P.
picture. Max's mom married Billy's dad. They
Yeah.
got together. Billy died, so Billy's
Right.
dad divorced Max's mom and left town, which put them in the trailer park with no money.
Right.
Right.
That being said, when Vecna was doing the gate plan of his like bodies, right? Max lives next door to Eddie Munson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that crack, like it like
Yeah.
destroyed his entire home and that neighborhood
Yeah.
where Max lived. Did Max's mom move away, or did she get caught in the earthquake?
Either way, something that should have been mentioned.
And even
Right.
if even if Max's mom got caught in the earthquake, who is paying the medical bills for her being in a coma? She, like, at this point, a medical professional may have pulled the plug on Max.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but also, like, really? No one checked
But
up
listen,
on her?
it's okay. It's okay because they got the muscle atrophy aspect of it all correct. They made sure
I
to get that right.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, in these sets of episodes, Holly Wheeler and Max figure out a way to avoid Vecna and find a way to get out of the quote unquote, not upside down, but Vecna's mind palace that they're currently trapped in.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how during this whole thing, Holly is trying to figure out a way. Max is slightly given up, but yet Holly goes, "Did you check every square inch of the desert that you look upon every single day?" And Max is like, "Nah, I haven't checked everything." So it's like, really? Really?
Yeah.
And this plan involved kind of throwing delightful Derek under the bus a little bit,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
another whole thing. But during this process, they find a secret entrance to a cavern or a set of like railway, like a, what, I don't know what to call it, like
It's like a mine. It's like a
mine shaft
Yeah.
where Henry Creel supposedly maybe got his powers. I think it's important that you guys know about what happened in the Broadway play. But before I go into that, what did you think of Max's retrieval and Holly Wheeler helping in this whole section of the episode?
I thought it was okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I just thought it was something to like move their plot and try and get them back in the real world, right? I didn't really think it was like bad or anything. I am curious about like what the whole thing is with the briefcase, and like if you're gonna have a play and have it tie into the show, but not everyone can access the play, you need to have information in the show that can like tell us like, hey, by the way, this happened. We're gonna add it in this show so you guys don't have to watch the play to understand this. But they didn't do that. So that just leaves more questions for us. I don't know if they'll, come back to it in the 2 hours that we have of the finale, but that's a whole other thing. I also, like many other people, when they finally did like get out, or not get out, but like we're in that area and they were looking at their portals and they were just walking towards their portals. Run!
Yeah.
Run,
Yeah.
bitch, run! Like, what? Y'all are so slow. The fact that like people, the writers or like creators don't understand of anything really, because it happens in a lot of movies and shows where like they're slowly walking towards their exit. This is their freedom after a year or two of trauma, torture, being stuck in here. How are you not sprinting? I would be full-blown sprinting. It's like running in your dream. You're like super slow.
Yeah.
Running in your dream. Oh, that always bothers me. Like, you guys got to fix that in future shows. In reality, no one would be walking. They'd be sprinting.
But
then Holly,
sprinting.
Okay. They walked. They walked, and like halfway, they're like, okay, we gotta pick it up the pace. We gotta run, and they're running.
I think, yeah.
But then Holly, she didn't get out. She got right back in.
Yeah.
I think typically when there's like that artistic liberty of like the character should be more expedient about this, And really, it's just for the drama. It's for the cinema of it all. People
Right.
don't mind it, but I think people have such an issue with it now, with this scene in particular, because this all has happened in the course of this season. Like, it was very rushed, because it was like every moment with Max and Holly was about how to get out and what do we need to do and what's the plan to escape here and this, that, and the other. And then we have 20 other plot story arcs that we need to revisit, right? So it was such a breakneck speed that got them to this point, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, now we'll take our time, right? And I don't mean Max and Holly, I mean the Duffer Brothers. I mean the writing now all of a sudden is, all right, let's start slowing down here. And it's kind of like almost forcing the climactic moment that it should be. But really it just comes off as like, yeah, guys, we got to speed it up here. This is all you've been talking about for I don't know how long. Why aren't you running? So I'm sure if they were both trapped in there together and this was a quest between seasons or something like that, then it would maybe be a different story and people wouldn't be so critical of it.
So I do, as someone who has seen the Broadway play, here's how it ties in to like what's going on. In the play, Henry Creel comes to Hawkins, Indiana, because he blinded a kid at his previous school with his powers. Right? He was like Vecna's first victim, if you will, right? The play also touches on this moment, right? But one of the central questions of the play is it the Mind Flayer doing this to Henry, or is Henry the Mind Flayer? And what I mean by that is like the play doesn't say what happened in this mine shaft. It's just that he got his powers from this mine shaft. He then went to school and then hurt his friend. Henry, at the beginning of the play, claims that it's the darkness inside him. This pain is torturing him, like that's making him act out on his worst impulses. But by the end of the play, he is in control and he is doing the impulses, right? And in the play, Henry Creel loves spiders. All of his imagery is spiders and all this stuff right that. You know what I mean? Although it's never confirmed or it's never stated outright, I took away from that is that there is no Mind Flayer. Henry is the Mind Flayer, right? He is the one using his powers to torture these people. It's not some outside being. It's him acting out on his worst impulses, right? So when it comes to like the show itself, if like according to now the season 5 lore dump, right, is Henry Creel was a kid, he got the powers, right? He then went to Hawkins, Indiana, did a whole play, met Sean Astin's sisters, fell in love, fell out of love, yada, yada, yada. And then after that, he then went to work for Dr. Brenner, where he met Eleven, because they took his blood and put it into Eleven's mom, and which gave birth to like the 12 children, right? That being said, when 11 then banished him, he got banished to Dimension X, right? That Dimension X, he did not create the Upside Down at all. But then in season 1 of Stranger Things, he then sent the Demogorgon to go get feeble minds like Will, and people forget that this also included Barb.
Yeah.
But Barb did not survive the process, right?
Yeah.
He then put something like that little slug into Will's mouth, which then he came back when he got rescued. And in season 2, that piece of slug is then extracted, and that is like the dust particles, right? There is a piece of Vecna still in Will even after all that process, right? In season 3, this is where Justin's understanding comes in, right? He then makes the Mind Flayer, which is that spider goopy that is like through the thing. And although he's not in the real world, he is sending a minion into the real world to then open up a gate to get him into the real world, right? Or bring Dimension X into this through the Upside Down, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't work because his plans are foiled, right? And in season 4, he learns that it didn't I can't do that plan with just Will's body. I need multiple people. I need 4 people with feeble minds, right? He then takes Chrissy. He takes that kid from the basketball team. He takes the Nancy's friend, the journalist friend, and Max Mayfield to open up the gates, right? He
Right.
tries to open up the gates. Max doesn't die completely, so it halfway does it through the upside down, so it doesn't work. Then Vecna is like, fuck this, is not in the upside down, retreats back to Dimension X, and steals the dozen children to then do the gate thing again, and then bring Dimension X fully into the real world.
You just recaps the entirety of Stranger Things for
but
everyone.
That's only because I have a lot of the information from the play itself, right?
Right.
That tells us that there is no difference between the Mind Flayer and Vecna, although it's never stated out loud because the question still remains, is it Henry or is it the evilness inside him, right? So, that being said, does that change how you look at what happened to Max and all these different children and things like that? Because at the same time, these children are like low-key turning evil because they almost choked out Holly, but that's a whole other podcast, you know? But does that change anything for you?
No, I think, I think
Derek does
I think
not
best
care.
case scenario, Vecna's still a bad dude, right? Like, he's still a villain and needs to go. Worst case scenario, it gives them a nice little cop out to like, oh, it was the Mind Flayer, the evilness in him all along. You know, let's survive. Let's give him the power of friendship, and you know, and then they save Henry from Vecna or whatever. So, like, it doesn't. And again, I think a lot of this stems from the same issue, which I wish Netflix and the Duffer Brothers would just own up to this. They were not planning all this shit from season 1 and 2. They weren't. There's no way. Absolutely. We met Vecna in season 3. Was it 3 or 4? No, we didn't even meet him in season 3. We met him in season 4.
Well, we met Henry
in season 3.
Yeah.
I think it was halfway planned out.
When did we meet Henry? I thought it was season 3.
We meet Henry in season 4. So according to the Duffer Brothers, I think it's important to add that season 1 was made to be a standalone season. Then
not according to the Duffer Brothers. They literally have been saying this is a 10 years in the making.
So,
and it's like, no, it isn't.
Here's the thing. I also read that, but I also remember what they said when Stranger Things 1 came out. They said that it was originally called Montauk, and it was meant to be an anthology season where it followed a different supernatural event each season. But everyone loved the cast of season 1, so they just kept that story going, right? I remember that. I'm not crazy. I have they had a whole Montauk thing, you know? But I think what happened, I think the truth is, they made season 1, we're going to make the anthology, right? They said, no, we'll do season 2. And then it made season 3. And then they did 4 and 5 back to back. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I think happened, because there are threads that aren't picked up.
Right.
Like the whole Callie thing not being relevant until now. I think they did not plan with
Callie's back specifically for them to not look bad. Because we all knew it was a backdoor pilot. We all knew Callie and that whole episode was a backdoor pilot.
It was meant to be
all
a
of a sudden
pilot.
she's back now for some reason because they want to keep up that facade of that they've been planning this for 10 years. You know, it's a culmination of all our storytelling. And it's not. It's not. And you feel it when she comes back because it's like, I don't care. I don't care that she's back. And now I'm upset because on top of being back, she's being sus. And she's throwing another plot line into an already overcrammed final season.
I have a theory for her.
Oh, okay. So are we done talking about Max right now? Or should we move on to another character?
We talked a lot about Max without talking about Max.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Callie, aka number 8, and how she's come back and how she's not going with the plan. In this sets of episodes, Callie is telling 11 about what she saw while she was trapped under Dr. K. And what she saw was a bunch of pregnant women being infused with Callie's blood to hopefully restart the numbered program and make more 11s. And it doesn't work because Callie is not like 11 and is not like 1, aka Henry, aka Vecna. So it's not working, but once they capture 11, they will be able to make more numbered children. And so Callie says, if we kill ourselves right now, we will be able to stop the program and they will never be able to do it. Here's my problem with that. We just got off of Hopper talking Hopper off the ledge of killing themselves. So it's okay for 11 to think that? I don't know. What did you guys think?
Here's my theory.
Okay.
So remember how they both went into each other's minds, and that's when Callie gave her plan about like, we're just gonna unalive ourselves.
Right.
I think that 11 thinks that what Callie's saying is just bullshit. And in her mind, 11, she's like, I'm going to go along with this plan until the very end, and I'm not going to go through with it. So she's going to make Callie believe that she's going to go through with it until the very end, and then 11's like, nope, peace out, bitch. And then Callie will die from it, but 11 survives.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because you have to admit, 11 thinks Callie's a bit sus. After she showed her like that in the church, the whole like illusion thing. Yeah. And plus, like, Callie has the power of illusion, so who knows like what she could do with that power. And 11 has been around these group of people, Hopper, her adoptive dad, for a whole lot longer than how long she was with Callie for. So who do you think she's going to trust more in the end game plan?
Yeah, she's a little bit more savvy now compared to in season 2, where she was a little bit easier manipulated by Callie, for sure.
Right.
I think something that isn't mentioned enough, and correct me if I'm wrong here, there's a scene where Sarah Connor says something like, oh, 11 is getting these children, this, that, and the other. Like, they thought 11 was doing this, right? Am I wrong? Well, the military thought 11 was behind everything.
No, it's unclear because 11 goes, I'm going to kill all of you. And Dr. K looks so confused. She's like, what are you talking about? But that moment is not elaborated on. It's like, okay. Yeah. So we don't know officially, but it could be a good guess. I don't know, Derek.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think to me, the military and Callie and all this is this season's version of the Russians, right? Like the whole plot line with, oh, the Russians are under them all. Okay, oh, Hopper's in Russia. Joyce and fucking Maury, the paramilitary wannabes are gonna go save Hopper from fucking the gulag. Like, we didn't need that. Like, why the fuck are you adding that into the story? At least in this season, the military makes sense to be there, right? Because of the natural disaster and everything that happened, right? But then I think they take it a step too far with like, let's recreate the experiment. Let's introduce Callie again, like all that kind of stuff. And it's just all this noise. And we've got 8 episodes to wrap this all up. Why did you add all this extra stuff into here? That's my biggest takeaway from the Callie stuff is she's sus, and I'm upset about that because she shouldn't be here at all. Just wrap things up without her. That's it.
Maybe she's one of the 6th deaths in the last episode.
Oh, we'll do death counter at the end of the episode.
Hold on. This just reminded me. So the Duffer Brothers have officially said there are no big deaths in the finale of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier.
So maybe Kylie's one of them, because that wouldn't be a big death.
I don't think they're telling the truth all the way.
They elaborated. It's not Game of Thrones. We're not in Westeros. Again, they keep mentioning Game of Thrones. I think they know that this final season is not good. There's not going to be a red wedding situation. We're not trying to shock or upset anyone. What am I watching for at this point?
Okay, pause.
There's no stakes? And why would you say that?
I think they're trying to get us off that track, though, like trying to ease our minds, and then like boom, they're gonna hit us with something like Steve's gonna die type thing, like. But if Steve goes and Dustin goes, they literally said that to each other.
I honestly think the more I think about this, the more I let it simmer. I think they're gonna end with it was a D&D game all along.
No,
I think it's going to end that way.
No, because you know how many people are gonna be so mad about that?
They wouldn't do that.
I know.
They would complain and try and get them to lose their jobs type thing, okay?
Yeah. And they won't. Again. I mean,
maybe
we'll
it'll
find out.
end with them playing D&D in the future.
And
their campaign is based off what they lived through.
Here's the thing. It would also explain why there's so much exposition. It will also explain why there's a 40-minute epilogue on apparently who Vecna is and stuff like that, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that happens in D&D. Like, what is this? What is
No!
that? And you have to
You
Yep.
play
Play
D&D
one
once.
session.
Play one session
know
and
all
you think
about
you
it.
know.
Listen, okay, I
Yeah,
don't
yep.
think it's going to be a D&D campaign, but I think it's very important to say that there are other stakes besides death that I think the show implements. We'll talk about that when it comes to Nancy and Jonathan, but that's a whole other
Yeah.
thing. I think there are other stakes that could be implemented. Death is not the only thing that's on the table. That being said, when you continually say it's the end of the world, we have to save the world, yada yada, you know what I mean? Everything is in danger. People expect a life or death scenario, you know? I don't think they're going to kill a child in this. Like all those 12 children that Vecna kidnapped, I think all of them are going to be safe for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't think Derek's going to die. I don't think Holly's going to die. They're pretty safe. But when it comes to characters that keep getting faked out, like Hopper, it is a frustrating watch. Hopper has faked his death or thought he was going to die at least 3 times in this entire series, right? And it's frustrating. It is so frustrating because I'm waiting for them to pull the trigger and then they keep going. It's like Chewie and Rise of Skywalker all over again. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't tease me about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, we also have characters like Callie who are like, press the button. We got to end ourselves right now. And I don't think the solution to Stranger Things is everyone kills themselves. That's not going to happen. Like, ever going to happen, you know? So I think in hindsight, some stories just should have ended, you know? I think maybe Jonathan went to college for a couple seasons and maybe it's really cool when he comes back to help everyone, you know what I mean? So it's like a big thing, but like, the cast is just so big, it's hard to imagine them all making it out. But I think they will. And that's okay. I think I'm cool with that. Maybe Derek's not, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Speaking of deaths, I think it's time to talk about our favorite duo, Steve Harrington and Dustin, which finally they made up in this episode. Even though Dustin frustrated me this episode, and I got in trouble with Threads the other day because I said verbatim, unfortunately, Steve Harrington was right about Eddie Munson. Go back and watch. I rewatched the whole show.
He was.
And he was correct.
The fact that Dustin just went back in there.
He didn't have to.
He went back in there to go try and find Eddie, and he was fine. That alone is literally proving Steve's point. Like, hey, the bats would have been dead already. Anyway, you guys literally just had to wait
5 minutes.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was. You just run. Go outside of the trailer, close the trailer, and run somewhere.
Right.
Fight the bats the right side up, if anything.
Here's the problem with the whole scenario, because I recently watched it. They don't know that 11 and Max are fighting from the other side. The piggyback is happening. That's the clinching thing, right? Because Nancy, Steve, and Robin go to kill Vecna, right? Dustin and Eddie are distracting the demo bats so they don't go to Nancy and Steve, right?
Yeah.
So the demogorgon bats then leave the area to go attack Nancy and Steve, right? Then at the same time that's happening, 11 is fighting Vecna in Max's mind through the piggyback, which then cancels all the tentacles and the demobats, right? As Eddie Munson is fighting them off. So I guess in theory, they didn't know about the whole thing. They were acting on the impulse that they were helping out their friends on the other side, and Dustin, who would have been like eaten by the demobats, right? So I understand why he did it, but strategically, if they followed the plan and went back to the other side, everyone would have been fine, unfortunately.
Yeah. They would have they might have still had to keep running from the bats.
Right.
But okay, that's fine. Like, keep running. If anything, you have the advantage now.
System, like, or make more noise, play another song, anything. They didn't. It was very odd to me. And I don't know why the first option was just to run into the store because they truly did
Yep.
not have to do that. But when it comes to like Dustin and Steve, they finally make up because they have this scene where Dustin gives Steve Harrington Eddie's spear, which feels kind of cursed, but that's a whole other discussion, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. You know, I was frustrated with Dustin. I was frustrated because number one, he was wrong about the matter disruptor thing. It's not a shield generator. It's the thing that's keeping the upside down out of space. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he almost got a lot of people killed because of his emotional reactions. Were you guys satisfied with this reunion?
The gimmick, the reunion was fine. Like, okay, you know, we all knew it was gonna happen. Finally, I kind of wish it would have happened earlier on in the season and not, you know, 7 episodes in and wasted our goddamn time with all that. But I think to me, what stands out the most with Dustin's character this season is the whole gimmick of like, oh, here's something I don't completely understand, but I do understand it if I put it in the context of pop culture. I do understand that if I put it in the context of my fictional sci-fi stuff. That is super fucking annoying to me at this point.
Really?
Because what do you mean shield generator? What do you mean? Like, Dustin, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. You're just a kid, and you're literally, to his credit, he doesn't know it's a wormhole. But he should at least know he doesn't know what the fuck the upside down is at this point.
Okay,
right?
If we're gonna be mad at Dustin, we have to be mad at Nancy.
Yes.
Because
Everybody
Nancy
who is
shot
enabling
it for
this
no
shit.
reason.
Yeah.
Why was that the first thing? I don't understand that. Like, why would you shoot it?
Regroup and say, "Hey, I found it. What do you want to do?" Yeah.
Like,
I think everyone was trying to be the hero in that situation. Like, there was no teamwork at all. They kind of just like were like, I'm gonna make the decision because I'm smarter than everyone else. I feel like Nancy has that kind of mentality where she's like, I am gonna do this because I know that this is the right thing to do. It's just impulse she stuff. And I get
but
it.
Nancy is smarter than this.
I know she's smarter than I know, but it's kind of like she probably felt like it was a life death situation. Like, it's funny to me how they didn't clock the melting stuff and like the bodies stuck, which also like makes me wonder who those bodies were, because it was like old military uniform looking. Anyway, I don't know what. That's another story. But it's
that
I
could
feel
also
like
be answered by the play, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, it's just everyone was trying to. It seemed like Jonathan and Steve were the only like people who were thinking in this situation. Like, they were all the only ones with like a brain a bit. Like, maybe we should not just jump right into this so quickly.
It's again season 8 of Game of Thrones. They just need the plot to happen, so they're doing this shit just to move the plot forward when it doesn't make sense. Oh, let me look at that shimmery thing that I can barely see unless I shine my light. I'm gonna shoot it. Aren't you an investigative journalist?
Right.
Don't like. I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing. In the play starts off with the military testing a nuclear like thing where they like blow everything, or it was like something to spy on the Russians, right? And that group of military got sucked into what we thought was the upside down, but now we know was Dimension X, right? Or maybe that was the impetus of like the birth of the upside down itself, is that thing, right? But they blew it up. A bunch of military got sucked in, and you can pay attention because if you pay attention, Hopper and 11 walk by a random ship inside the upside down. That is the ship that starts at the beginning of the play, right? So all of these military people that are like randomly in are those military people from the play.
Again, stuff from the play that we don't know about. Like, how are we supposed to figure that out? Not everyone has access to the play.
Yes, but would it have really affected your enjoyment if you known? I don't think it's that essential, but
yeah,
it's like, oh, that's the guy from the play. Anyways, another moment that went viral in this batch of episodes is the Nancy and Jonathan breakup. which it was a breakup, and people didn't get it was a breakup. Quick temperature check of the room. Did you think that they broke up at the end of their conversation?
No. I thought their decision was to not get engaged right now. Like, that was a bad idea to do, but to stay together. Like, they were still, like, dating, and that's it. It did not seem like a breakup at all.
Hey, it's a high-stress situation. We've been living in the last 18 months under fucking quarantine. Like, there's a lot going on. We're not in the most healthiest spot, but I love you. Will you unmarry me? That's not the same as somebody that is not married, right? When you say unmarry me, that doesn't mean break up.
Right.
If you're married and you say unmarry me, then you're breaking up. Yeah, and I think the fact that the Duffer Brothers had to clarify that it was a breakup proves my fucking point that this season is not good. It's not good.
I think
they're doing too much.
I think it's very clear that it was a breakup.
No.
Very clear. Okay. Let me finish, okay? Because they think they're going to die, right? And so they tell the truth about each other. They say they don't like each other, all the things that they should have said sorry for, not reading articles, giving away articles of clothing, et cetera, right? Typically, in the real world, when you propose to someone and they say no, it usually means you're breaking up. Because I don't know that many people who get proposed to, they say no and then they remain together. And so Jonathan being like, I'm not going to propose to you, I'm not going to marry you, especially since I watched last season very recently where he's like, I don't want us to end up like our parents where they hate each other. Right. And he noticed that he was going through the same, I guess, trappings of his parents, both of their parents, of getting married because they feel like they have to. And that felt like a very conscious decision of I don't want to get married because I have to, even though we don't work together. And that's okay. So let's not get married. Even though they have love for each other, even though they care for each other, they're not going to get married. And she's going to go to Emerson and he's not. So that is a breakup.
It was the right move. It was the right, narratively speaking, it was the right thing to do, was to break them up. And I think that was always very clear from the start. You see a character like Nancy in the beginning of the series where she was still very smart, very somewhat independent, but caught up in the girlhood of it all. Now all the way to season 5, and you're like, she shouldn't be with Steve or Jonathan, right?
Yeah.
Even in season 4, you're kind of like, no, she shouldn't even be with Jonathan. So narratively, I think it's the right choice. Just like narratively, it was perfect to have Will come out before the final battle. Right. But in execution of those scenes, the way they went about it, I think is where people have that issue where it's like, how do you botch this?
Yeah.
How do you make this so that it's not clear that they broke up and you have to clarify that to People Magazine or wherever it was? How do you make it so that Will comes out and it's half the town? Why is Maury there? Why is Hopper not there? Right. I'm not going to let that go.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
Because he had to be there because Vecta was using it against him.
No, it's fine. But why is Hopper not there?
Because he was setting up the truck.
Because he was setting up the truck.
He already knew.
Hopper's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of this shit.
Hopper's probably like, I already know what this little twink is going to say, so...
Or he's watching 8. He's like, make sure she's not getting in trouble.
Oh, Callie's in the room, though.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. Look at the photo.
No, she's not. Pull up the photo.
You have it. It's in the messages.
I swear to God. How much you want to bet, Steph? How much you want to bet?
It's literally Derek's not even denying it. She's in the photo.
Okay.
Not
Where?
in the photo I sent.
Oh, she's
but I do
not
think
in the
she's
photo,
there.
but
she's not
standing.
there.
No, I think she's there.
What? No, she's not.
She is. She's behind. If you look at the photo, she's next to Max standing, but behind 11.
Yeah. She's
No,
11's
that's
blocking
Robin's
her.
girlfriend.
No. I said behind 11. 11's at the right of the photo.
Viewers, tell us if Callie was there.
Viewers, we hate this fucking show.
No, that's
we
Callie's
hate Stranger
illusion.
Things.
No,
we're watching out of obligation at this point. Send help. Okay.
Here's what actually happened. Callie projected herself through illusion to be there, but she didn't give a fuck. She's like, what? Okay.
She's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go kill myself.
No!
She will. You know she will.
Gosh. Speaking of killing themselves, I do want to
Hey.
talk. Everyone chill out. Everyone chill out, okay? I do want to talk about another set of characters, which is Erica Murray and Mr. Clark, who finally gets like in on the
And the
secret.
librarian.
And the librarian.
In a library.
I want to know what happened to the first girl from like season
Mr. Clark fucks.
2 or 3. I was like, what happened to her? Like, you know what I mean? Like the librarian, really? Okay. But I think it's interesting how he's finally in on it. He takes the information of Dustin is just in danger. It doesn't matter. Gotta save Dustin, number one. He comes up with a great plan using because Dustin had the telemetry device with the car, and their plan was to drive around, but they didn't have it. But he used balloons, which like it gives you like a way more bigger area. Like, why wasn't Mr. Clark in on this plan in the first place? In fact, I think the show would have been better if everything that happened with Murray happened with Mr. Clark instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Mr. Clark should have had that role.
Yeah.
Not as a conspiracy theorist, but like as that person that can provide information, et cetera, et cetera. He should have been there from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
agree.
like the Wheelers should have known that the fucking upside down and all this was a thing. Maybe
Also,
they could have said.
Sorry, finish your thought.
I do think Mr. Clark is a goner. He could really die. He's in danger. Like he could actually be a very killable character.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But also, I love how they just. Are we going to talk about the Wheelers?
Of course. Let's
okay,
talk
then we'll.
about.
You
know what, Steph? I'll let you introduce this section of the podcast. Go ahead.
No, I don't know if you want to talk more about like Clark and Erica and you know that.
I just want to mention the part that I want to mention about them is that a lot of people went to the Upside Down for the first time, and it's not a big deal in this episode. Mike has never been to the Upside Down. Mr. Clark has never been to the Upside Down. Erica has never been to the Upside Down. A lot of this cast of characters just never made it over, and they just casually walk through, and it's not a big deal. Like, what happened? They needed gas masks like a couple seasons ago. Like, is Mr. Clark going to comment on, like, the air? Is it breathable? Or the tentacles everywhere? No,
what's her name did? Robin's girlfriend? Right?
Yes, like, Robin is going, like, her girlfriend's randomly in the Upside Down, and it's like, that's huge. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big deal, you know?
Yeah. Also, I don't know why Robin's girlfriend is there.
To die.
To die, probably. Yeah, so I guess they're never making it to Enzo's.
Very killable character. Like, she's like, go on with that. Dead. Like, goner. Her, Mr. Clark, Murray, very killable. I don't know. But let's move on to the Wheelers, specifically Karen Wheeler.
Mama Wheeler.
Coming back from the dead. This strained credibility for me, to be honest with you.
What a badass family. Except for Ted. We don't know where the hell Ted is.
I don't like. I like, bro. Okay. Yeah. The part that I want to talk about in this section is what's going on with the abilities of the Demogorgons and the Demodogs, because they can kill military personnel, but they can't hear the radio well enough.
Maybe they're deaf. Maybe they just go by scent.
No, guys, we know we know they go by sound though.
It's not even about. It's not even about. You're overcomplicating it with the radio. They couldn't hear Karen Wheeler limping over to the dryer, putting the can in there, closing it, turning it on. And then, because we see her walking through the door after all of this, she then limped out of that room. That, like...
Maybe they're attuned to one frequency.
That is true. Like, what?
They're attuned to one frequency, maybe.
Don't know.
So they can't hear like anything else besides whatever is on the frequency that they can channel from.
Lucius can kick a Demogorgon or in the face and not have his leg chomped off.
He's like the biggest of the whole Kren group, so I don't see how he can't.
Yeah, but that kick was weird. That kick in the elevator.
He was actually holding her, by the way. Sadie Sink.
And kick. Yeah, it was such a weird thing. I had to rewind it and be like, did he just kick The demo dog? Like, that's, first of all, that's not even how physics works,
What
right?
do you mean?
Second
He kicked it.
Second of all, yeah, and it would fall into the elevator. It would just not fall directly the way it was aiming. It would go, and they would all end up in the elevator together. Game over. Everybody's dead.
Nah.
Let's test
Lucas
that
had
theory.
That leg strength.
Grab your dog.
Yeah. No. Have your dog run at you. Have your dog run at you and see which direction they end up in when they like have to abruptly stop. They still keep going in that same direction.
No, because I have been in that experience where, like, not my dog coming to attack me, but like having to like kick her chest, like back her up, and she goes back.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy. It's like,
right,
so is she
running at you? But is she running at you full speed?
No, but if you're...
Are you carrying a person while you're doing it?
What happens is if you're having two objects coming together...
Science corner over here.
At speed, right? They're running, whatever. You're not going to go through. You're going to bounce off each other.
Same speed.
No, not same speed. Because you could have, like, two people running at each other. Like, if you have two people running at each other and they're both running at different speeds, they're going to just bounce off each other and fall, right? So, technically, the demodog, that was correct, where, like, the demodog, bounces back. But also, what's his name? Well, he wasn't running towards them. He was just staying put in one place. So, in reality... Oh my God, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Lucas?
Jesus, I was going to say Dustin.
My gosh.
Lucas, because he was staying still, only his leg was moving, he probably should have, like, been a little off balance. Like, maybe, like, especially holding Max, like, he would have stumbled a bit, but he didn't. I mean...
Bro, the dog would have ended up in the elevator.
What do you mean? If anything... Lucas would have gotten his foot stuck in the dog's mouth if it was open, if he kicked in the wrong spot.
That's another thing, but sure,
he kicked him in the chest, I guess. So, like, the dog, if you kick something that's coming at you, they're not going to come towards you. They have to be coming at you at a ridiculous speed for...
The dog was running full speed at him.
Okay, but how fast can a dog actually run at you? Or in that short space that it had?
So, by the time you guys are talking about this, I was rewatching the whole coming out scene in the corner of my eye. It's official. Hopper was not there. Callie was there, but it's just a shot of the back of her head. She doesn't have a specific... Though. She was officially there.
Behind 11, right next to Max, right?
You're correct. Callie was there.
Bro, why wasn't Hopper there? Why?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Maybe we'll find out in the last episode. There's 2 hours.
He was filming Thunderbolts. He was filming Thunderbolts.
Literally, but we gotta keep this pod moving. We have talked too much about the physics of leg kicks. All that being said, the last group that I think we should talk about are the kids and what's going on in Vecna's mind. Derek risked his life to let Max and Holly go. And in return, he got threatened by Vecta himself that he will kill his family if he said anything. And when Holly comes back to the mansion, those kids have gone crazy. What was it? Follow the light. Follow the light. Follow the light.
Turned into a cult.
They're a full-blown cult.
Yep.
Obviously, I think to some degree they are being mind controlled or more malleable because kids are more malleable according to Vecna.
Yeah.
But the amount of violence of them just being choked, like they literally choke Holly out, One girl calls her a bitch, or I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you think Derek should have intervened? Because I understand why Derek didn't intervene, because he was scared.
Yeah.
I think
of course.
If there's one, look, if the show, I don't know if you guys know by now, but I'm not having a great time with season 5, right?
Right.
But if there's one thing that the show got right was showing how starting a cult works with these kids, right? Like, I'm pretty sure in the finale, they're going to have like a make Dimension X great again moment, because they're full blown, like sold on this story of the boogeyman, the monsters, and only you guys can save. I just posted a video about it on my page where it's straight up like they perfected showcasing a cult forming with these kids. I don't think they're being mind controlled. I think they're just straight up children. And that's why, you needed to do that, because it's one thing to try and forcefully opening these portals and all this kind of stuff like Vecna was trying to do in season 4. It's another thing to sell them all on the idea that he needs their help so that he can then control them. Down to the point where even when you start to realize it's a cult, like Derek did, you can't leave it because it's dangerous for you and it's dangerous for the people you care about. And it reminds me a little bit of like Scientology, right? Where if you try to leave, they'll like destroy your life. So if there's one thing they did right, I think that it's that. I'm interested to see how they follow it up, right? Because you've already got your 20 people in the main cast you need to wrap up. I think these kids are going to end up getting like a weapons type of ending where it's kind of like they're just like, running or whatever. And then at the end of it, they're like, oh, we're normal now. We're not mind controlled. And then that's it. I don't think they're going to wrap that up beyond like Derek being delightful again one last time for the, because people love that. I'm more concerned really on his family. Because at this point, it's been too long.
Are they still tied up? Are they still tied up in the barn?
I don't know. After volume 1, people were complaining about it. Like, oh, his family's tied up. And it's like, guys, chill. Like, the episode ended and it's technically the same, like, few hours of everything happening.
Right.
But at this point, it's been a solid, like, few days, a week maybe.
It has been.
Where's his family?
It's been like only a few days. It hasn't even been a week. I think it's only been like a few days between volume 1 and volume 2.
It's only
so his
been
family's definitely
I think, 2 days.
Yeah.
So
I would assume they had gotten themselves out though, or someone found them. They were in a neighborhood.
All right. Yeah. So I think it's time to talk about our predictions for the series finale of Stranger Things. Keep in mind, none of us have seen it early. We didn't get invited to any cool premieres or anything, but that's okay. I'll start off with Derek. What do you think is going to happen in the series finale of Stranger Things?
I think we are going to get a Brand the Broken Part 2. It's going to be super not satisfying for people. They're going to probably redeem Vecna, and they're probably also going to do some sort of psych out. If it's not that they're playing D&D, it's that the wormhole getting destroyed caused like a temporal rift, and they're back to like 5 years ago playing, in the basement. Or, everybody who died was not for real and everything's back to normal and they're alive again or something like that. Like, they're going to not push things, I think. I think everything is going to go back to normal, like if it never happened, happily ever after, but also like no consequences, which is not, I don't think, satisfying. So
Stephanie?
Who's Stephanie?
Stefania. That's the second time I've done that. That's weird.
The second time you've done that.
That's crazy, Stefania.
So I forgot, but isn't there supposed to be some like time travel thing that?
Oh, I was going to bring that up in mine.
Yeah. So I feel like, going off of what Derek said, I don't know if they're gonna go like, what if they time traveled back to like season 1 and like
stealing mine?
And like kind of did something that'll prevent like domino effect, like change that one thing that would prevent this ever occurring, right? So I feel like they're gonna play with time travel a bit there.
They're gonna Back to the Future to it.
Yeah, especially with like the whole flux capacitor thing that Robin did in volume 1. I was like, yeah, that immediately, yeah, we're gonna go time travel. But
okay, yeah. Here's what I think is gonna happen. I think Vecna will succeed. I think we'll have like a moment where a lot of people die, and then one person, probably 11, when the dimensions are fused together, everyone gets sent back in time, and 11 stops Henry Creel in that mine shaft from going down it. Therefore, he never gets the powers, and therefore 11 is quote unquote unmade, in that Jane never becomes one of the numbered children, and the numbered children never exist because Vecta's blood doesn't exist, right?
Right.
And then some people will remember what happened. They'll be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Oh my gosh, Hopper, you're alive. You're the sheriff again. Because at this point, like, so much has happened. like it has to be like national news to some degree. So the clock will reset back to like normal Stranger Things time. Maybe not all the way back to season 1, but everyone will be sort of normal, you know?
Right.
And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, but because Jane did that, she's not 11 anymore. Like, she's unmade. She's not real anymore. And then Jane will walk through the door and be like, hi, I can talk normally because I'm Jane. And I have a good relationship with my mother who loves me very much. And then that's the end of Stranger Things. That's my guess.
That's also not satisfying. Like,
Really? I mean, I would be fine with it. I'd be like, oh, okay.
I would think that was like a fine ending. I would think that would be like a great ending to an epic series, right?
Right.
I do think there is time travel involved, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like a cheap shot to go that
Is
route.
it a cheap shot?
A little bit. It's kind of like expected.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the basic bitch answer of finales. Like, that's the first thing that they're going to do.
That's what
right?
it is, a basic bitch answer. Yeah.
It would be really funny if they went all the way back to season 1 and gave us
tried to de-age everyone.
And that janky ass CGI that they did for Will when he was young.
True.
Do that for everybody, and they're all like playing, and they're all little kids. So I don't think they'll go to that. But honestly, I don't put it past them at this point. Like, this season has been so hit and miss. I think if they do what you're doing, what you're saying, Justin, they're going to just do like current time, but with the version of the Hawkins that was not split open, was not 11'd, and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like everybody's story if things were normal. And then maybe that's how they bring back Eddie. Because that'd be kind of a cool thing.
Ooh,
because
Eddie would be alive.
Eddie
Chrissy
would
would
be-
be
Yes.
alive.
Yeah.
And
Barb
bringing
would be
exactly-
would be
alive.
alive. Barb.
Yeah. And bringing them back would be like the perfect, like, oh my God, this show is so awesome that all the casuals love
Avengers.
about this show, where it's like that full fan service, and it's
You
just
get the
kind of like,
Chrissy
all right,
wake-ups coming out.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. You know,
As a
I
wearing a
promise.
Hellfire jacket.
I promise I don't
Ooh.
hate this show. I promise to the viewers out there, Justin, Stefania. I promise I don't hate this show. Okay,
I think you
I'm
hate
just
this
tired of
show.
Netflix's shit. All right.
Right.
I think they're playing a trick on you. It's fine. I think that is the end of our show. This is the last show of the year. Thank you so much for listening to us throughout this entire year. We will be back next year. That's kind of crazy.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Yeah.
Wow. A whole year of still scrolling. Look at
51
us.
episodes.
51?
Thank you.
Has it really been 51?
Yeah.
Yeah.
50th D&D session.
All right. Oh, wait. I'm not going to end the last show of the year on some Stranger Things bullshit. Gotta go out with the normal stuff, right? Here we go.
Go out with a bang.
And we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Next year.